So, the definition of love is an intense feeling of deep affection, right? So, for some reason today, I was just sitting down thinking, and I'm like, what makes people go crazy in love? And here we can cue Beyonce, Crazy in Love. Back in the day, everyone loved the song, everyone loved the dance moves that were in the video. But I never really thought about the actual title, Crazy in Love. And so, like, I'm someone who loves music. I love all sorts of music, new, old, but especially R&B music. And so I was on a train going home, and I heard Boys to Men, End of the Road. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this song. Like, it is so, like, it makes me so emotional, even though I'm not in love. So when I started to hear the words of the song, I kind of was like looking around, like, whoa, this is deep. Like, what are they talking about? And so I'm gonna read some of the lyrics for you guys just so you can understand what I'm saying. So, the beginning is like, we belong together. You know that I'm right. Why do you play with my heart? Why do you play with my mind? So I'm just like, okay, well, if y'all should be together, they shouldn't really be playing with your heart and your mind, but okay. So, later on in the song, he's like, well, when I can't sleep at night without holding you tight, girl, each time I try, I break down and cry. Pain in my head, I'd rather be dead. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right. So clearly there's love, and then there's crazy in love. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, so how do people get there? You hear about all different sorts of relationships. I remember like way back in the day, Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC, she had burned down like a mansion that her and her partner shared. And I was like, whoa, like, what would it take for you to burn down a mansion? Like, how angry could you have been? And for this sake, I mean, she could have been a little bit mentally unstable. I don't know. But just for these purposes, we're going to say that she wasn't, right? And then I remember a story like one of my Nigerian friends told me. And Nigerians, they a little, but it's all good. He was telling me about, his girlfriend that he had been cheating on. But he was like, she was a real good girl. She was a church girl. And that, he loved her and he didn't know why he did those things. So neither here nor there. So he told me about how one night, you know, she said that she wasn't going to go out. I guess they had a argument about it and she wasn't going to go out. And he wanted to make sure that she didn't go out. So he told me that he climbed a tree. This is a black man, mind you. That he climbed a tree to check and see if she was home, and he was looking through her window. And I'm like, okay, so that has to be another example of crazy in love. And so it just makes me wonder, like, well, what is it about pain that attracts people, right? Because obviously when you think of love, you hear these wonderful love songs without actually listening to the lyrics, or you hear and see all these extravagant ways that people show their love. But then it's like you get to this other point and you're just like, wow, like how does one actually get there? I had an instance once myself where this was years ago. Okay, I'm 32. This was like more than a decade ago. Okay, so this is when I was young and I was dumb and I was just, we do things and we don't even know why we did them, right? But this was my first love. My first nightmare, shall I say. And I remember, like, it was just a situation where sometimes you're stuck with somebody and you don't want to let them go because you don't want to feel like you lost, right? So therefore, if you're dating somebody who was a cheater or who was no good or who was a liar or whatever, and, maybe there are other girls that are involved, you want to feel like I did not lose, okay? Like I am the winner, you are the loser. In reality, no, you're all losers. But so in this situation years ago, I remember I was gonna say I had an instance of crazy love, but I think I had a whole relationship of crazy love. And the guy that I was dating at the time, like I said, my first nightmare, he he allegedly, well no, not allegedly, he was somehow when we was dating, he somehow moved into another female's house. And I found out through somebody. And I remember when I found out, I was with my cousin who was like 7 or 8 months pregnant. Hey, Irene. And literally, we were getting micro braids. And when I found out, like, I hopped up out the chair. Like, I was like, don't finish my hair. Irene, I know you pregnant. Come on, we got to go. And it's like, that was absurd. And yet, like, I really was ready to go. If she wasn't there, I would have, like, literally left my hair undone and paid for and went to go fight or went to go handle some business. So finally we finished, and I'm telling you, by that time I was shaking, I was mad, I was everything. Went to the house, knocking on the door. He wouldn't answer the door. It was just a whole big, crazy, crazy, crazy commotion, crazy, crazy story. But that's just an example, one example of being crazy in love. And so I feel like, but if that's the case, I don't feel like it's love. I feel like it's infatuation. I feel like it's stupidity. I feel like it's obsession. I feel like it's just, I don't know. It's just something that it should not be. But it just makes me wonder that at what point do people like people feel like, okay, this is not the situation for me. Let me exit stage left and go about my life. Like, at what point do you stop feeling good about the situation and actually know that you deserve better and you need to keep it moving? So that is my question for you all tonight. Have you ever been crazy in love? Do you think the term crazy in love is actually a good term, or do you think you're just crazy?